Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I am on with Sasha. Hi Sasha.
Hey, Gloria.
Sasha is a UGC creator. She's been a creator for a while, and today we're digging into her journey on kind of how she found success with UGC, her trials, tribulations, and then how she came over that. So, first of all, welcome Sasha. It's awesome and wonderful to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
For sure. So I would like to start with an introduction of yourself. So tell everyone watching this a bit about yourself. What's your name? How long have you been doing UGC for? And we'll just go from there.
So, I'm Sasha, and I've been a UGC creator since 2022, really, kind of on and off. I took a pretty long break, maybe between like 2022, 2023 to earlier this year, and that's when I decided to get back into it. Really, I was kind of doing it unintentionally, and I had like a wellness blog, and I was doing like food content, wellness content. I had done like gifted collabs. So I actually was familiar with UGC before I joined the academy and, scaled my business this year. But really, I was kind of like, I don't know if this is legit. Like, I see everyone talking about it online, but is this really a thing, or is this just kind of like another internet scam? So I actually I dove a little bit deeper into it like earlier this year, and I just wanted to do more research on it. So really, I was kind of like, oh, this is an actual business model. Like, this is something that I could do because it's kind of like combining my passion for creating content with real business, like marketing and sales. So that's when I decided to just go for it, really. And I basically just decided to do it kind of on the side for maybe like a month and a half. But then I actually found a good amount of success. And probably 2 months in, I was able to quit my full time job and just dedicate all my time and energy to my UGC business. And it's been amazing so far.
Wow. Um, how did you first discover UGC in the first place?
I think it was through Instagram because I was on Instagram Reels, and I think it was just kind of like talking about like digital marketing, talking about like content, talking about like ways you can kind of like make extra money on the side from being online, from being on your phone while, creating content of things that you actually enjoy. So I was naturally skeptical. I was like, is this really a thing? Like, I can make money by making a video of like, I don't know, a supplement that I own? Like, really? So I think initially like 2022, 2023, I didn't even pursue it further because I was like, I'm just having fun with it. I don't really know if this is for me. So, but then earlier this year, something kind of changed in me, and I was like, well, I see so many people being successful online. There must be something to it. Like, let me just read up on this. Like, let me just, do a little bit more research and see, like, can I actually do this? And really, anyone can do it. So, that was really something that encouraged me because like one thing that really stopped me, I guess, from pursuing content like seriously before this year and UGC, it was like the belief or assumption that, everything has to be super aesthetic, everything has to be super polished. And if you don't have like a super aesthetic lifestyle or house or whatever, like you can't do UGC, you can't do content. So, but then I think I saw a bunch of posts online really just like challenging that assumption. So that's really what like changed my mindset completely.
I would love to dive into that in a bit, but with your journey really beginning it, like you mentioned you quit your job, but what were you doing before this? Like, what kind of job were you working?
Yeah, I actually have worked many different jobs in different fields. I've worked in like higher education, I've worked in law firms, I've worked in medical offices, kind of just doing like administrative stuff. And my degree is like totally unrelated. It's like Russian studies and international studies. So, really, yeah, it's not related at all, but it is related to like a passion of mine, like something that I've done on the side for years. So, it's kind of cool how it worked.
And then now you're doing UGC full time, right? How has that been?
Right. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, it's so fun. And it's definitely not without its challenges, but I think the beauty of it is I think it's perfect for creative people, anyone who wants to make money on the side, anyone who wants a challenge, neurodivergent people, like really anybody, because it's like it combines like the creative, business, marketing, sales, and it's like you're marketing products, services, but you're also marketing yourself. So it's really like an exercise in self-reflection and advocating for yourself, and it's a ton of new skills. Like I had no experience in sales, I had no experience in marketing before, so I was kind of like a little overwhelmed at first, but obviously I have a great mentor and I have a lot of great resources. So it was like a learning curve that I was able to gradually kind of get used to.
Mm. And you mentioned like marketing and sales. And what would you tell that creator that's like watching this video right now that's like, oh, marketing and sales, like I've never even, yeah, I don't have that background. Like, what would you tell them, people that are scared to try because it does include, these skills?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And honestly, I had no background in marketing or sales. Okay, like I had one retail job that I worked for maybe like a summer in college, but I don't think that really counts. But I would say like marketing and sales, they're everywhere. So you probably have more of an understanding than you think. And then the things that
Wow.
are really challenging, like, negotiating and presenting yourself strategically, all of these things, like, there are resources to help with that. Like, you're not alone. This is something that other people have to learn in order to be successful, and it's like if they can do it, you can totally do it. It's really just like half of it, I feel like, is self-confidence. It's like the mindset and presenting yourself with confidence, like believing in what you say and believing in what you have to offer, and then the rest will kind of follow with practice and time.
Wow. And that's beautiful advice, to be honest. Um, Guys, if you're watching this, take notes right now. um, with that being said, so Sasha, you've been a creator since, or a UGC creator since 2022, right? And it's
Yeah.
2025 now. So about 3 years on and off
hmm
ish. Hey.
yeah.
And then you saw those like Instagram reels and decided to give it a try. Is that right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So what were your like first like UGC attempts like?
Do you mean this year or earlier?
Like earlier when you started, like back in like 2022, like your very first videos you created, or like your attempts, like what were you feeling? Like what were they like?
Oh yeah. I mean, they're kind of cute when I look back on them. But yeah, they're not exactly strategic UGC, but it was more like talking about like restaurants, cafes. I lived in Boston at the time, so I was doing like a lot of cafe hopping, restaurant hopping on the weekend with my boyfriend. And it was a lot of that, just kind of like unintentionally doing UGC and just being like, let me show you like the best places in my neighborhood, or like this random Korean restaurant is actually a hidden gem, and kind of like promoting things without really like recognizing what I was doing. And then also like just food in general, different products, supplements, and then like I was dabbling in skincare on the side. So it was like pretty eclectic, but more focused on like restaurants and food just because of like the environment that I was in. There was a lot of like places that I could go to and kind of show on my Instagram account. So I really just like explored that heavily.
Okay, sure. So what you said you didn't have much strategy back then. So how were you like approaching brands when you were like newer to UGC?
When I was newer to UGC back then, and even earlier this year, like when I first started, I was really just like DMing brands that I was interested in, like very, very casually, and just kind of being like, hey, like, I love what you're doing. I love what you're, like showing people on your social media account. Like, I would love to help you promote X, Y, and Z, show it off to my followers, talk about it in my network, that kind of thing. And really just kind of like going off of whatever I thought looked interesting, whatever I thought I could do a good job of promoting in a video, and also just kind of seeing like what other creators in my network were doing at the time.
Mm.
It wasn't like, yeah, I wasn't kind of like, which brands should I target? Like, which brands would be most likely to work with me or accept me? I was kind of just like, yeah, like if it looks interesting, like, why not? I'm just going to DM them.
And then how long did it take for you to realize like it wasn't as easy as those like TikTok or Instagram influencers like made it seem?
Earlier this year, when I was first starting out seriously, probably within the first like 3 weeks, I want to say, because really what I focused on at first was just building a portfolio, because like that was the advice that I kept seeing everywhere, is like portfolio, portfolio, portfolio. So I just doubled down on that and got that done. And then once I realized like, oh, I need to start pitching, I need to start reaching out to brands, then I was like, okay, it's not as easy as everyone makes it seem online. It's not like you can send one message and then you get paid like $1,000 just for, like a 10-second video or something. There's a little bit more nuance and strategy to it. So I think it was pretty soon after I started this year that I was like, okay, like there's a bit more to this game than maybe some people are getting at online.
And what was like the hardest part about that time?
Oh, that's a good question. I think probably staying motivated and believing in myself and just kind of like pushing past, the rejection and the self-doubt and just questioning everything because I was like, oh man, like I feel like the gap between where I am now and where I want to be and where advanced creators are, the gap is so big. Like, how am I going to get there? And like, maybe it's really obvious to brands right now that I'm just starting out and I don't know how to negotiate. I don't know how to, email them with confidence and really believe in what I have to offer. And that's why I'm not really getting much traction. I'm only getting like, $50 deals or something like that. So I think it was at that point where I was like, okay, I need to focus on negotiating and positioning myself and just like kind of figure out how to get to the next level from here.
And then you said, to get things straight, you said you're on and off for a couple years before you went full time, right? What do you think was like the biggest thing, or the biggest problem you had in your business that caused you to go on and off and not believe that, hey, this could be full time?
I think probably two things. I think the first thing was just not really knowing if it was legit, like if it was an actual way to make money, a business model. Like, I think I was kind of just in disbelief that so many people were doing this. I was like, how are these people making money? Like, there has to be some kind of like caveat, some kind of like trick to it. And obviously, yeah, like it is more complicated than 10-second reel would maybe suggest. But I was just kind of like, I don't know if I can actually make money with this. I'm just going to keep doing this on the side for now. And I'm not really going to give it any more thought because I don't know. I don't want to like go there because I think the thought of starting a business and freelancing and working for yourself, it wasn't really on my mind. Maybe like on my subconscious, I wanted to do it, but I wasn't really ready to take that step at the time. So that's why I didn't really research it further. I didn't pursue it any further. But this year, I think I kind of recognized that I wanted to. So that's why everything changed this year. Like I wanted to work for myself. But to go back to your question, the second thing is probably the belief that you have to be super aesthetic and have really beautiful, gorgeous, super aesthetic content. Because I think like I would be scrolling through reels and I would see people with these like super polished houses with like tons of decor and like, super aesthetic apartments. And I was like, are these the only people that can make money off of this? Are these the only people that can use this as a sustainable business model? So I really like believed in that. And I think also because I hadn't encountered anyone at that time who was showing me that like, no, you don't have to be some perfect aesthetic influencer to do UGC. So I think like I was stuck in that belief at the time because I didn't have anyone showing me like, no, like you don't have to be like that in order to be successful.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of creators do struggle with understanding, like, yo, like this can be a full-time business, right? Once you approach it right, like you have. So at the beginning, a lot of creators like get stuck in a couple pools. One of the pools is like that gifted collab loop. So I want to ask you, were you ever stuck in that loop? And if you were, how did you kind of realize that, hey, this isn't it? Like this is wrong and it's time, for change.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is a great question. I definitely was. Like when I was doing it on and off, I was pretty much only doing gifted, just like either an exchange or they would like comp my stay or my like meal at a restaurant. But earlier this year, probably like the first month or month and a half, I was stuck in the gifted collab loop, like really bad. And I kept taking on gifted collabs too. And it was like cognitive dissonance. I was like, I know that I shouldn't be doing this, but like I can't help myself because I was like, I need collabs to show that I'm experienced. I need to take gifted work to build up my portfolio. So I think like I was kind of operating on that like fear or assumption in the back of my mind. But then really I was like, I don't think this is working because it's like the same amount of labor and skill and time go into making a paid video versus a gifted video. And actually, like, I think the quality of paid work is obviously going to be better because, you're being respected, you're being treated fairly. So I think it was just kind of like I had to learn it the hard way a little bit because it was like, gifted collabs, you can keep doing them forever. Like there is an endless amount of brands that will only do gifted collabs, unfortunately, because they don't really respect the value that creators bring. And it's like, I think it's fine at the beginning to take a few, especially like if it's something you really want, if it's something that you think you can do a good job at, and like you don't really have a portfolio, you're completely new to this. I think that's fine. But if you have some experience and some understanding of content and UGC, then like at a certain point, you have to like respect yourself as a creator and be like, this isn't serving me. Like, time is money, and I can be investing that time back into my business to make revenue and to like better myself as a creator and a business owner.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're right on that. There's so many brands out there that will want you to work for free, but every creator has to get to that turning point like you did where you understand like, yo, this is like a infinity loop. I'm going to be here forever if I don't change, right?
Yeah, it was like Groundhog Day. It was like I kept reliving the same thing over and over again. And it's like you have to like recognize what needs to change in order to break the cycle.
100%. So for you, Sasha, like what changed and how did you find out about a different approach?
I think what changed is, first of all, like joining the academy, like having a support group, having structure. Structure is so important because it's like, I think if I had been operating by myself, I probably would have succumbed to that belief that, like, oh, gifted is the best that I can do. And like, clearly, there's a reason why I'm not getting paid deals. Like, I am only good enough to receive gifted work. But I think like networking with you and other creators, it really opened my eyes. And I was kind of like, no, like this is a legitimate business and I deserve to be paid just like any other creator.
100%. And how did you kind of find out about me and like us on our end? Did you, recall any like specific piece of content that you read from mine where you thought, oh my gosh, that makes sense? And that's like a new perspective that I never thought of?
Yes, I am pretty sure that it was your Reddit post that was like how I make 10K a month at age 19 or something like that. It was definitely one of your Reddit posts and I was like, this girl is different and this is completely different from any of the other UGC content that I've seen on Instagram. Like everyone is talking about like, oh, like, get paid to make a video about your favorite lipstick or whatever, but you were talking about like systems, you're talking about scaling, and you were talking about like how to stop getting gifted collabs, how to start getting paid and, scale your business. And like basically the mindset and the tone of your post was like completely different. So it was that really like pushed me to join the academy and start networking with other creators, take it seriously. But I think also like working in the gifted collab loop, I was kind of like, at a certain point, I just got like really tired of it. And I was like, if I keep doing this, like I will burn out. So I have to find something that's sustainable, that can sustain me as a creator and like financially. So I think I really just tried to like double down on where I could find paid gigs. And for me, like in the beginning, it was mostly Reddit because it was super easy. There were tons of like paid collabs and just brands that like I knew they needed UGC because they were posting about it and messaging people. So I think like I just kind of focused on that and I was like, I'm going to do this from now on and I'm going to give way less time and energy to gifted collabs because like the return on gifted collabs is not very much. Like sometimes the brand will post you, but usually not. So that was the time when I was like, something needs to change and I have to do more outreach, really.
100%. So it sounds like the fact that you had it, you learned that you could control your business and do outreach and, put systems in place was that paradigm shift that got you to think, wow, like I can actually scale this. I can actually make a full time income from this. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, systems and just that mindset shift, the paradigm shift, like you said, that was huge because if I hadn't had that, if I hadn't found you and your Reddit post and this whole community, I totally would have been like, no, like I'm not good enough to make like, I don't know, X amount of money per month based on like my current credentials. Like I'm just not good enough. I can't get there.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess like how did you start applying this new way of thinking once you understood these things or realized like, yo, I was approaching this all wrong?
I think the like biggest way that I started applying it or approaching it was really just trying to only take on paid work, like only looking at paid opportunities. And even then, like probably for like 2 to 3 weeks, I was really, really, really stuck in a spot where I was like only getting like less than $100 per video or per collab. And it was like really like frustrating. It was really discouraging. So I think I had to push through that and just be like, okay, like this is only part of my journey. I think everyone goes through this probably. And also, like, I had seen a lot of posts online about how this is completely normal. So basically, like, I had to just do two things, which is like do more outreach, be strategic, apply to paid gigs only and paid gigs that aligned with me, not just like, oh, like we'll pay you $10 for a review video, that kind of thing. Like, no, I don't even like look at those emails anymore because it's just not worth it, in my opinion, to try to negotiate. So, yeah, targeting paid gigs and better qualified brands, I think that was the time when I started to work more with like startups and apps. And I found a lot of jobs through like an agency that I work with, a platform called SideShift, and that has been amazing too, also through your agency. So I think once I realized like, oh, like I actually can get paid like a decent amount for UGC work, that was when I was like, I need to only focus on this. Like, I should not even be looking at these like lower paying brands and collabs because like they might be appealing, but like, is it worth your time and energy to try to negotiate with them when maybe they're not ready to invest in creators that way?
Yeah, for sure. And it's like a once you're achieving that abundance of like getting paid so much money from your videos, you understand like if you make the same videos for free, that's not aligning, right? And you're in between two worlds. So making that shift, it sounds like you made that shift throughly from like, yo, I'm not working for free anymore. Because it's similar to like going to a restaurant and clocking in and working and maybe getting free food on your shift, but not getting paid for the shift in the first place. Why would you even do it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that's just going to drain your energy and your motivation. And like I have said this multiple times throughout my journey, but it's like your time and your energy are so valuable and so important. And that was one of the main reasons why I joined the academy and started like, relying on this as a support group and networking with other creators because like I realized like, you know, motivation is important. Obviously systems are key, but it's like your mindset and your mood, it can really influence how much or how little you make. Like it's a reflection of your business. So if you get stuck in the gifted collab loop or you have a ton of brands in your inbox that are like, okay, like we'll pay you $20, like that can really discourage you. That can harm your motivation. And like if you don't have other perspectives, if you don't have systems and like other information from people who are doing it, then you're going to be like, well, I guess like this is all I can really get. Like I should just kind of, throw in the towel at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like you've, come a long way from when you're in that gifted collab loop to all the way now where you are generating income, a full-time income basically from UGC. So for the brand owners watching this, what would you say to brand owners who are watching this right now? And how would you kind of describe like your services or your specialty, your niche, and like why brands choose you as a creator?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So I create strategic short form content to help brands boost their visibility and generate sales, app installs, waitlist signups, and basically help their marketing goals in a way that makes sense in this current digital environment, whether it's through organic media or paid ads. For the most part, I've been focusing on organic media, but I also do paid ads, and I've been running strategy on a few campaigns as well to basically align the brand's guidelines with their marketing goals and how they want to be perceived by, let's say, like a Gen Z audience on TikTok.
And if you can publicly state for the brands listening, what brands have you kind of worked with so far?
Yeah, so I have worked with a bunch of different brands, most notably probably Taurus in like the tech, kind of like personal tech sector. I have also worked with some other startups. I've worked with K beauty companies like VT Cosmetics, Innisfree, and in addition to that, I have worked with some really cool brands this past month, including Paramount Pictures. And I'm also doing a campaign with Coffee Meets Bagel, which is like a pretty well known dating app. So I was really excited about those two campaigns. And it's just been amazing working with different brands like startups, working with really established companies. I have had more experience in the past month probably than in like my entire UGC career. So I think my niche, yeah, yeah, I don't know how. I think probably just from like outreach and just like signing up for campaigns on my like agency platform and reaching out to brands, basically just kind of putting myself out there. So I don't have a niche. I am nicheless. I would say that primarily I do UGC for like apps, SaaS, that kind of thing, more in like the tech side of things. Also, like personal health, supplements, skincare, but I really love tech. Like, I think it's so cool and I love that it can be done anywhere. And there are so many different angles that you can hit. So,
Yeah, 100%. And can you like list any on top of your head if you can you list any specific results that you've kind of driven for brands so far?
Yeah. So on one campaign that just wrapped up this past month, I believe the total number of views that we hit for that campaign across that was one where I was running strategy. It was me and four other creators. I believe the total number of views for that campaign, I have to check my dashboard, but it was like 4.2 million views combined. Yeah, and it really picked up in like the last week of the campaign too. Like we had tons of people commenting on our TikTok posts like what is this? Like, what app is this? What game are you playing? Like, let me download this. And it was targeted in the long distance relationship niche, which is like really cool because I thought it was kind of untapped. There's several apps out there that are pretty big, but they were focusing on their desktop app. So we really tried to hit that angle hard in like the last week, basically as a way to stay connected the entire time. So I think we generated really good results for that brand because now it's like it shows up on like the TikTok like search insights. People ask about it. We created like a group chat for all of the like followers and all of the people commenting on our TikToks because they were so engaged. And basically, I think like we really just like lifted them up to where people in the long distance relationship niche recognize that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's beautiful that you understand as a creator that you generated these results. Because a lot of creators, like when they work with brands, they don't even know what they did. They just create a cute video, send it over, and they don't even track this stuff or have a dashboard. So the fact that you have that is really, really dope. And it shows that you're working more strategically now. And speaking of strategy, from when started UGC to now when we met, I assume your pitching and the way you're landing these collabs has changed dramatically too, right?
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's really just like confidence in your initial pitch, like how you present yourself. And obviously, I've had some help like tuning my pitch here and there, but really the major difference is like coming off strategically and being like, here's how I can help your brand reach its marketing goals. Like, here's what we can do together. Your brand plus my services can equal like these results, can equal, increased visibility, increased signups, whatever. Basically, taking that approach and being a little bit more neutral but also positioning yourself as a business owner, being strategic about it versus positioning yourself as a content creator who's like, oh my God, like, I love your brand. I love like the cookies that you're selling. I love your website. Like, that's super cool. I'd love to help promote it. It's like, okay, like, that's cool. Like, thank you for the support, but like, why would I work with you? So I think basically I had to change my pitch. I had to overhaul it really and just like focus on like presenting what I can offer and being confident in that. Like I can do like X amount of short form videos per month. And also, I think part of that too was just kind of like finding a way to turn down gifted collabs and lower paying work. And that's part of it. It's like kind of training yourself as a UGC creator and a business owner to respect yourself and your time and your energy. And it's like the more you do that, the stronger the muscle gets. And I think it really helps build your confidence when you're like, hey, like, thank you so much. Like, it seems like an amazing, X, Y, and Z product. But like currently, I work with brands on a paid collaboration basis to create strategic content to meet these kinds of goals. If you're interested, I'd love to chat with you, that kind of thing, toss over some video ideas. So it's just a completely different approach from being like, oh my God, like your brand is so cool. Like, let's work together. And I think like that was a huge mindset shift for me. And that was probably something that I really struggled with in the beginning. And I'm still like, I'm refining my approach, I'm refining my skills as a creator. And I think it can only go up from here. But I think taking that approach, you really just have to be like, this is how people are doing it. This is how I'm doing it. I believe in myself. I'm advocating for myself because I know I create cool content, but not just that. I can work with the brand, understand their goals, understand what they're looking for, and, create a strategy that hits all of that and then continue to tweak it and tune it based on results, like iterate. Iteration is so important. And I think like that's also really key to working with brands and getting to that point. Like you have to realize like the first 1 to 5 videos probably won't hit, whether it's organic or paid. Like it might not hit, and that's okay because you can tweak things and you can kind of like test different angles and you'll start to understand like the psychology of it a little bit. There's a lot of nuance to it, but it's also like you can learn it pretty easily. So I think like just taking that approach and iterating more, just like basically getting more experience and doing a lot more content, like a higher volume, I think it really did help me.
100%. And then you mentioned higher volume. Compare your volume from when you first started, right? You mentioned like maybe a few pitches here and there on Instagram to now, like, what does that look like? What's the difference?
I think ideally I try to send at least 100 pitches per week, which I haven't focused on pitching as much in the past couple weeks just because I've had a few campaigns that I've been running strategy on. But other than that, definitely increasing the volume to like hundreds, not the thousands, but going from like, I don't know, I would say I probably pitched like 3 brands a week on Instagram back in the day a few years ago. Maybe if I thought like, oh, they're really cool and like I can do a good job, I can totally promote this. Like I wasn't thinking about like, what niches to target or what kind of brands to target, how many like employees they had, like whether they were running paid ads or not, that kind of thing. Like none of that really crossed my mind. So it was just a combination of like increasing the volume to the hundreds, also applying on different platforms. Like that's another key point is like Reddit, X. I use SideShift, the platform agency that I use. Fiverr, Upwork, like there are tons of different places to be. And it's like you can't just rely on brands coming to your inbox when you're first starting out, when you're first learning how to scale. Obviously, like that will come later on, but you really have to put yourself out there and be like, this is who I am and this is what I have to offer. And I know we can make amazing content and generate amazing results together and just really keep running with it.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're finding a lot of success from that, which is amazing. Do you like feel like you're reaching out to more qualified decision makers and not just like companies with customer support managers?
I think so. Yeah. I think definitely probably in the past month too, I have been reaching out to different brands that's like they're not just like super 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 new with pretty much no budget. It's brands that have somewhat of an established like social media presence, like they're running ads, they have like organic social media channels, they have some experience and understanding of UGC where it's like I'm not just kind of like hey, I'm a UGC creator. I make videos. Like, let me know if this is like of interest to you. And they're like, what is that? Like, we're not interested in that because I got like probably a good amount of those in the beginning where they're like, oh, like, we don't know what that is, or like, we're not interested. We have no use for that. And that was kind of discouraging too. But I think now I know better which brands to target, which niches to focus on, and kind of like that guides me in which brands I want to target. Also, like, I'm always taking note of like which brands I see on social media. Like, if I'm scrolling TikTok or Instagram, I'm like, oh, like, that's a cool UGC ad. Like, I can see they're investing in their UGC. I can see what they're trying to do. This is a brand that I want to pitch, that I want to reach out to and potentially work with.
Yeah, for sure. And how has it helped to negotiate with brand owners? I feel like most UGC creators can't even negotiate because they're scared of like speaking to brands.
Yeah, well, it is scary. I think we can totally admit that. It is scary at first, especially like if you're an introvert, if you're just starting out, you're like, oh my God, like, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to be like, no, like, I'm charging $200 minimum for a video. But I think it's kind of like you just have to do it. And like I said, it's self belief. And it's also just like, the value that you provide to brands. You know that this video can generate X results for this brand and it's valuable to them. Like it will draw customers in, it will boost their visibility. That is a service that deserves to be paid and treated with integrity and respect. So I think taking that mindset and just putting yourself out there and being like, yeah, like this is what I charge. And here are all the reasons why. It's not just like, oh, I charge $200, like take it or leave it. You can explain your services, you can explain what you have to offer. And obviously, like it's a back and forth. So if they want like more hooks, they want to run paid ads, you can negotiate that or really just work with them to see whatever it is they're interested in, you can make work. And like it's scary in the beginning, but I think it's just kind of like you just have to keep doing it even though you're scared. Like I don't want to say fake it until you make it, but you should fake it until you make it because it will build the muscle and it will build the confidence. And then really like it's just kind of like a numbers game from there. It's like, oh, like you want, a video, I can give you a bundle. I can give you these hooks and that's actually more beneficial for you. It's not just like I'm trying to get more money. It's like I'm trying to help your strategic goals. You want to see which angles work. You want to see which hooks work. Here's what we can do together. So I think like when you think about it that way, it's kind of like you're trying to help them like get the most for their money while still respecting yourself and advocating for yourself to be paid and treated fairly. You know what I mean? Like it's a balance.
And it does take time to like get to that way. You mentioned confidence. Like it does take time to get that confidence. So with you like around negotiation strategies and learning the proper negotiation strategies, did they grow your confidence and help you feel more prepared on calls with brands and negotiating over email?
Yes, definitely. And I think brand calls definitely help. It's just practice and it's like, you know, fake it until you make it. Like be confident, but also like have a conversation with the brand, understand what it is that they're trying to look for. And I think if you go in with a little bit of an open mind, but you're still like secure in what you have to offer and, your prices for whatever, I think that like that is a great way to go about it. Don't just go in and be like, "Oh my god, like I have a brand call, like I don't know what to do, like they're going to reject me." Like they're either going to accept me or they're going to reject me and then that's the end of the conversation. Like I think maybe in the beginning I was kind of thinking about it like in a black and white way. Probably a lot of other creators think about it too. Like, a brand will either accept me, like accept my first offer, or they're going to reject me, they're going to ghost me because yeah, like rejection stings and being ghosted sucks. Like everyone agrees with that. But I think it's like if you think about it as just like an avenue for a conversation, it's just healthier mentally and also as a business owner. It's like we're just having a conversation. I want to see where it goes, you want to see where it goes, and I will present to you different options and we can go from there and see what would be the most strategic, what would be the most beneficial for now and or for later on, rather than just like this is a brand call where they're going to evaluate me as a UGC creator. They're either going to be like, "Oh, well, your prices are too high, goodbye," or they're just going to accept me right away. I think it's a little bit of a middle ground. And I think if you tell yourself that mentally, you can prepare more for different outcomes and, be strategic, like price anchor and be confident and describe different things that you can offer for them, be prepared to be a little bit flexible. So that would be my advice is just be open-minded about it and recognize that like it's a conversation and it can go different ways, but that shouldn't necessarily scare you. Like it's scary because you're doing something that pushes you out of your comfort zone, not because the brand is going to be like, well, you're a bad UGC creator and your prices are too high. Goodbye. I don't want you anyway.
100%. It's not black and white, right? And it's iteration over time. And then, I mean, negotiation, it's kind of like a system in itself, but other systems, like what other systems do you currently use in your business right now to generate collabs on autopilot and grow your UGC business?
So definitely the Apollo and Smart Lead method that we've talked about in the academy. I think that has been super helpful too because it's like you can actually see their emails. You can see like who works at a certain brand and it's not just like I am like, trying to Google like what brands work with UGC creators or I'm trying to like just kind of like scrape all of that information from Instagram, you know what I mean? Because I think you need to have multiple avenues. So I would say Apollo, LinkedIn, Instagram, X. I don't really use X as much, but I know a lot of people have had success with it. So that and just DMing brands and being active on social media. So I think like those combined, it should give you like a really good pipeline of just different brands to work with. And then obviously like the more research that you do, like either through Apollo or being online, being on LinkedIn, whatever, you will start to understand like which brands you should be working with, which brands you should be targeting based on your niche, based on, your capabilities, like however much capacity you have. Instead of just like comparing myself to where I was at the beginning, I was like only on Reddit and I was like, okay, I really only want to work with like skincare companies. I really only want to work with like I don't know, supplement companies or like startup apps, that kind of thing. So I didn't really understand that it's like you have to put yourself in multiple places. Like you have to be like on multiple platforms, multiple avenues, and like you have to be pitching pretty consistently. So I think like that mindset versus being like, I'm just going to open Reddit or I'm going to open my email and see what comes to me. In the beginning, I don't think that's a good approach to take.
Yeah, it's unstructured. So, how have systems like changed your life and your mindset around business, running a UGC business when it comes to like before and after?
I would say that the before and after is before I was like kind of really operating on like emotion and fear and just being like, okay, well, I think like maybe I can work with these brands. Like I want to be a good UGC creator. I want to be a successful business owner. I want to, be like the people that I see online. I really want to make this like successful, but also like I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know where to start. Like I think a lot of it is just kind of like the anxiety and the fear when you don't have structure. it's just like you don't have any clarity. And like you always say, like clarity comes from taking action, but the action needs to be structured. Like to a certain extent, like you have to have systems in place to hold you accountable, because otherwise I think you're going to fall back on emotion, like the fear and the anxiety, especially when you're starting out. So I would say that like implementing systems like this, it just helps you keep your mind clear. Basically, it helps you stay focused and understand like this is a business, and if I want to have X results, I need to do like Y kind of work, that kind of thing. Like I have to put in the work in order to see results. And it's not just like I am not getting money, I'm not getting paid collabs, I'm not getting like these results because I'm not good enough, like my content isn't good enough, I don't know where to look. I just feel like it's hopeless. And then it's like that downward spiral. Like if you don't have anything to hold you in place, like, like pitching on like Bento or finding these brands on Apollo or whatever, like if you don't have that, then it's just kind of like you're just throwing it out into the universe. And it's like if you don't get results, you hear crickets, then you're like, well, it's because I'm a bad UGC creator. It's because like I don't know how to do anything, and like that's why like I'm completely stuck. So if you have systems in place, then they're going to take the lead from you. Like when you start to feel a little bit emotional, feel a little bit overwhelmed and like doubt yourself, that's when you lean on your systems and you're like, this is what has helped so many other people. This is how you scale a business. And this is what I need to do. Instead of just being like, this is why I can't get anywhere. Let's just look at my systems, like what's working and what's not working. Just be more rational, be a little bit more detached from your emotions, and just focus on what's working and what's not working. Like, tweak it, iterate your own pipeline, iterate your own personal brand and how you present yourself. Basically, like it's always evolving and you're always learning. Like, I have made so many mistakes as a UGC creator, and I like continue to make mistakes like everyone does, but you learn from it and then that confidence grows. And with the systems in place, it's like, oh, like I can actually do this. I'm building momentum. I'm getting collabs and I want to keep going. Like let's increase the volume. Let's increase how much work I can take on per month. Like let me dedicate more time to this. So I think like basically the more you put into your systems, the more you get out of it.
100%. And that's beautiful how you said, like, hey, it's actually not an emotional thing. We have to think rationally, right? Rationally. So it's like business is not emotional. It's not about self worth. It's not about, like, am I good enough? It's more so of, are my systems good enough? Are my systems worth it, right? It's all about systems and what we put together. It's not about us and our self worth. So obviously, you have insider information now that most UGC creators don't really have. So, how does it feel to have access to a bunch of other coaches and professionals in the community who are actively hiring, these UGC creators? For example, Alexander or Will or myself, right? The brand owners, or even like Emily and the creative agency owner. Like, does that give you a fresh new perspective coming from people who are hiring these UGC creators actively?
Oh my God, yes. It's amazing. Having that network is so eye-opening because it's like, it's again like just kind of taking a step back from everything and looking at it from like a bird's eye view, like looking at it from the brand side or the agency side. It's like, we're focusing more on strategy. Like, why is something working? Why is something not working? It's not like, oh, like, if I want to get like 10K a month, then I need to have like a really pretty portfolio and like DM 5 brands on Instagram and like that kind of thing and hope to get lucky. It's like you have a network of people who are professionals. They've worked in this for like years. They have so much experience and so many nuggets and just general advice to offer that it's like, basically like every day I'm learning something new and I'm learning like, oh, like let me tweak this. Okay, I need to focus on this. And it all kind of like comes together in your mind and it evolves with you. Like as you grow as a UGC creator, you keep getting fed these insights from like everyone in the network. And I think it just kind of it encourages you for sure, but it also like opens your eyes and it points out like your shortcomings and your flaws that maybe you can't necessarily see. And that was a big reason why I joined the academy and joined this network, is because I was like, I don't know if I can step outside of myself and recognize like where I need to improve. Like I want to be held accountable. I want to know what I'm not doing right and what I can do better. And also have that like support, like because maybe it gets hard emotionally sometimes, like psychologically, it's like self doubt. It's hard to push through that sometimes. But when you have people constantly being like, okay, like here are like here's this case study, here are these results, like this is why it worked, like let's do this, like let's talk about this, then it's like that just kind of it brings you back to reality. It's like this is a business and we need systems and we need to be strategic and intentional. We don't need to just like focus on the emotion, and like it's good to have ambition and dreams, but like if you're not doing anything about it with your current systems, then it's like you're just going to keep thinking about that dream that you have, and you might get frustrated because like I said earlier, it's like the gap between where you are now and where you want to be, and instead like you're focusing on the gap rather than what you can do to close the gap.
Wow. Yeah. And UGC on like TikTok and Instagram is portrayed as like make this like, 10K in a month as like a boss babe and like receive a bunch of your favorite makeup for free. But obviously you're learning from real business owners. So how do you feel like your mindset has changed during this process? You went from thinking like a UGC creator to a strategist, right? So how has that impacted you?
I think that it has given me a lot of self-confidence, and basically it's taught me like the sky is the limit. Like there is no cap in this industry. It's like you can, work as much or as little as you want. You can push yourself as much as you want or as little as you want, and you can take all of this advice and all of these nuggets and iterate and tweak and see what's working, or you can maybe not do that. Um but I think like it's just that strategic mindset and understanding like this is a business and this is serious, like you're a professional, versus like, oh, like I can get paid like, I don't know, like $200 for making a video about like some concealer that I like. And at a certain point, like some unknown point in the future, if I become good enough and like glamorous enough, I can make 10K a month and I can be a boss babe. It's kind of like, I think with that perspective, like the boss babe thing, it's like, here's like the door where you enter. It's like, okay, like make a video of your favorite concealer, pitch brands, get paid for like making videos about like makeup or whatever. And then in the future, you can make 10K a month. Like you can be a total boss babe. So that I think it's just kind of like there are two sides of it, and it's like, well, what is the messy middle? You know what I mean? Like what goes on in the middle to get to 10K a month, after you make that first video of your concealer, which probably is not going to be that good, versus now it's like, oh, okay, like I need to have like a pipeline. I need to have a pitch. I need to have a strategic pitch. I need to know which brands to pitch. I need to know how to present myself, how to describe my services, and, talk about like analytics on campaigns that I've done or a certain video. And it's just kind of like it gives you all of the tools to get to that 10K a month point, instead of just like having you like enter at the ground level and it's like, okay, like here's the penthouse, which you can get to, like maybe. Now it's like, okay, like here's where you are, here's where you want to be, and this is everything that you need to do in between to get there. And like if you have trouble with it, like if you stumble, like that's okay. We'll just find another way, we'll tweak it, and like you can still go up there. You know what I mean?
100%. It's like systems first, boss babe second, like the only way to get there is systems.
Yeah, like the systems, that's the staircase, right? Or the elevator to get to the top. And the boss babe is like, the wallpaper of the building where you are, or like the penthouse up there, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like kind of that shiny object. Everyone's going after that, that message, that boss babe message when they should be going after systems.
Exactly.
So Sasha, let's jump into like kind of where you are with UGC. So what was your first big milestone as a UGC business owner now? And how did it feel to land that milestone?
Yeah, I would say probably two milestones stick out in my mind because they happened pretty early on after I decided to like commit all of my time and energy to this. First one would be getting my first monthly retainer client, and then the second one would be hitting four figures a month, like over 1,000. So once those two things happened, like pretty quickly in succession of each other, I was like, okay, like I can do this. Like this is a real thing. It's not just like I'm gonna get like $20 video collabs for the rest of my life and I have no hope. It's like this is an actual thing. And if this is just the beginning, and it is just the beginning, I can take it like anywhere. I can take it to the moon. I can keep scaling it. And like I think I just had that like realization that this is real. And if I put more time and energy into this, I can absolutely get to that point where other creators are. And like this is legit. Obviously, like you get what you put into it. So I think like that was the sign to me where I was like, no, like I need to commit my energy and my resources to this because like this is just a sign. Like this is the beginning, and it was incredible encouragement. And I think like if I hadn't gotten that, maybe I would have struggled a little bit longer, and I would have been like, how are people getting these collabs? Like, is this a real thing? Like, how do people like retainers? Like, it's just some kind of like, it's a fantasy. Like, it's often like dreamland or whatever. But that really showed me like, oh, retainers, like, it's a legitimate business thing because you're providing consistent UGC to this brand on a monthly basis. Like, you're fulfilling their need and they're paying you for your service. And you're doing it strategically because you're working together and you're iterating. So I think like those two moments for me were huge. And that's when I was like, I can just keep doing this, but just keep improving and reach that point. If I improve my systems, improve my content and my outreach, I can totally get to that point of like 10K a month.
Okay, so you landed. So walk me through the timeline here. So you landed your first four-figure deal, and then you, like you said earlier, you quit your job. And walk me through that timeline on like when you fully committed to UGC when we met like months ago, right? Walk me through that timeline on okay, when did you do this? As in like land your first four-figure retainer. When did you quit your job? And then where are you compared to back then? Now.
So I would say that milestone, it was a three-figure retainer, but I had multiple deals, which like pushed me over four figures. That I think it was like a month and a half in. That's when I was like, I'm over four figures right now, and I have a monthly retainer and I have deals that are like still coming in. So I can consistently hit over a K per month. And like, why wouldn't I just like dedicate all of my time to this? Like, you can make more from that than you would at a week of like your normal job. So I was like, I just have to keep focusing on that. That was like a month and a half in, I'm pretty sure, because I joined the academy, I think the beginning of May, I want to say. And then I think it was mid June when I quit my full time job. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to focus on my business. I want to focus on getting more retainers and that kind of thing, more deals. But now I would say August is when I started to get four-figure retainers, and it's through the agency that I work with. But in general, I think like it was just kind of a turning point for me because I was like, oh, like I can actually get paid this amount of money for creating strategic content, like managing a team of creators, communicating with the brand, figuring out what's working and what's not working. And like I can do this for multiple clients. And I'm still improving my own systems. I'm still improving like my pitching and my outreach because I always want to try to be better and do more. But I think like August was a really big turning point for me because I was like, I can just keep doing this for like multiple clients and improve everything. And it will only go up from here, instead of just like taking on like the one-off deals. I think that was another thing that I really struggled with in the beginning is like the one-off deals where it's like people just want to pay you like $50 or $100 for one video, and it's like that's fine if you're just starting out, but if you really want to like make a living from this and own a business, then it's like you have to like realize that that's not a sustainable business model. You need to build relationships, you need to do things on a longer term basis, and obviously like reach out to qualified brands and basically like build relationships, figure out what's working and what's not working, and try to understand what their needs are as a brand. And then it's like you can just keep getting like relationship after relationship and understand like this is what's working and this is what's not working, and I can just take this and apply it going forward to my other collabs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And then I guess like how has UGC kind of changed your life, and what was your like the most amount of money you've made or your biggest month with UGC so far, and how has that changed your life?
Yeah, so it has changed my life for the better, 100%. I am so happy that I took this decision to just go full time and like freelance and work for myself, be a business owner, because I think like it had always been in the back of my mind. Like, I want to work for myself. I want to be able to work remotely and travel and basically just like, be creative and also manage my own time, manage my own projects, how much I'm taking on, that kind of thing, not really sit in an office all day and like report to a boss and just clock in and clock out and not get any kind of like fulfillment out of it. So it's like emotionally fulfilling, personally fulfilling, it's creatively fulfilling, and financially fulfilling too, because it's like, you can make way more from a single deal make way more than like 1 week of work at your normal job. And to answer your question, the biggest month for me is this month, this upcoming month, September, because I have contracts locked in for this month, and I will make over 6K this month, which is really exciting. So potentially even more. So to be determined, but that is like huge for me. And so I was super excited. I tallied everything up like in like Google Sheets. I was like, wait, I have this campaign, I have this project, I have this. And I just kind of looked at it and I was like, wait, like this is over 6K. Like, what is going on? So, and it's like, yeah, like I am kind of working a lot, but it's exciting too because it's like I'm learning so much, just about like marketing and psychology and everything. I'm learning like how to improve my content, like how to tweak my hooks on TikTok, to really like grab viewers' attention, that kind of thing. But it's also like, it's not just the content, but it's like gaining confidence as a business owner. It's like, wow, like, if I can take on this much work and build these relationships in this month, and it's only been like, I don't know, like 4-ish months, maybe, like, what will it look like 5 months from now, like 10 months from now? Like, it will just keep getting better. So I think it's just like, it's huge. And it's really like, it's boosted my confidence. It's like, the sky's the limit. Like I keep saying, it's I, like, I have moments where I feel like, oh, like, can I really do this? Like imposter syndrome. I'm like, I don't know if I'm good enough. Like, there are so many like UGC creators out there. Like, is this really for me? Can I do this? But then I'm like, no, like, I have been successful and I am working on campaigns, and it's like I want to keep doing this. I want to keep working. I want to keep improving, and I want to help other people do the same thing because like this is legit.
Yeah, for sure. And that must have been like, I mean, it was a buildup over the past few months, right? A buildup and kind of that popcorn effect going from, starting UGC, like when you fully committed, working a job, quitting your job, and now making 6K months in contract, right? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Yeah, I think it totally is the popcorn effect too. And it's like, you know, putting yourself out there, and like the more experience you get, the more confident you'll be because you're like, oh, like I have this case study. I have worked with this brand, and like this is what happened when I worked with them, and this is what we did. And we realized like this wasn't working. So we tried to do this. And it's like it will just continue to snowball. And then it's like, okay, like you get some emails in your inbox and maybe they're trying to lowball you. And then it's like, okay, well, you know what you've done with this brand, so now you can respond to this brand and you can be like, actually, like, thank you so much, but like, I charge this for this reason because, like, here are the results that I provide. These are the services. It's all very intentional. And it's not just like lip service. It's like you're actually believing what you're saying because you have the experience. So I think it's just like, it compounds so much. And it's just like, it's an upward spiral as opposed to a downward spiral, which is what I wanted to avoid in the beginning. And I was like, I need to have like support. I need to have systems and structure, and I need to just keep putting myself out there and like keep taking on collabs and learn from it so that I can improve and my confidence will grow rather than just being like, oh my God, like it's not working. What's not working? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to like give up. That was what I wanted to avoid. And I think like just having like this group for support and this network and putting myself out there and like taking on all of these projects and collabs, it's like the return on my investment has been like amazing. So, and I'm so excited to see like where it goes, where I take it. Like I said, I'm always trying to improve and I'm always trying to do better. And I know like everyone has areas where they can improve. And I'm like, okay, like let's do it. Like I'm ready to do it. I don't want it to just be like a figment of my imagination. It's like, no, like I want to sit down and be like, what needs to change in order for me to get to this point? Like, how many collabs do I need to take on? Like, what should be the value of my retainer? And how many retainers do I need to reach X amount of money per month? Which is like one of the initial questions that, you ask when you join the academy is like, what do you need to do to get to this point? It's like you are basically asking, like, how do you make this a reality? But broken down like step by step, not just like, okay, like I know I need to pitch, I know I need to like get collabs, I need to negotiate, I need to like, raise my prices every few months. Like it's a little bit vague when you think about it that way. But I think like when you break it down like step by step and you look at the numbers and how much work you need to do and how much outreach you need to do, like it just kind of simplifies everything like mentally and emotionally because you're like, okay, like this is what I need to do. Pitching maybe is a little scary, but like I already have this amount of experience and like if I just increase my like outreach by this amount, like this is what I should get. And if I don't get that, then I'm just going to change my pitch. Like it's kind of like A to B to C. It's very like stepwise and logical rather than being like super nebulous and like, okay, well, like I could do this better. Maybe like this is wrong. Maybe like my portfolio sucks or like my email isn't good enough or whatever. It's like, no, like we have a system in place to recognize like where the break in the chain is. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, and that's very inspiring. So, Sasha, like, what's next for you, and like, where do you see all of this going for you in the future?
Good question. I want to hit 10K a month for sure, and I want to hit that consistently. I think I want to focus on more retainer clients, like just building like really long-term relationships. I would love to focus heavily on those just in like the tech niche, like apps and SaaS, that kind of thing. I really want to iterate more on paid ads and improve that with those tech companies and basically just like scale my business to that point. I also want to focus on like digital products, helping other people learn the basics of UGC and keeping a presence on social media, like building my personal brand. And like the essence of that is basically like trusting yourself, trusting your gut to work for yourself, have freedom, like time freedom, financial freedom, creative freedom. Like I want that to encourage people and inspire people to be like, oh, like UGC is an actual thing. So I kind of want to like I want to be a resource for people to be like, is this actually a thing? Like I can work for myself. I don't have to sit in an office. So basically, yeah, like I want to keep scaling my business and I want to be a resource to people and help inspire people to, like find the self-confidence and just take that step, take that risk to trust yourself and listen to yourself because like the return on your investment is crazy.
100%. And how do you see, like, I guess, like, what would you tell someone who's like where you were like 18 months ago?
18 months ago, I think 18 months ago I wasn't even doing content. I was like on my break. I'm pretty sure I was on hiatus. But I would say like listen to yourself. There's a reason why you're interested in UGC. Like there's a reason why you are intrigued and you want to learn more. So I think like really listen to yourself and ask yourself like what is your motivation for wanting to do this? What is your like reason for wanting to work for yourself and like make a thing out of this? Like okay, you need money on the side, but it's probably a little bit deeper than that. So ask yourself that. And I would say, like, just go for it. Like, there is a reason why it's speaking to you. So, like, don't ignore your inner voice and don't ignore your gut. Because I had done that, like, for so long, 18 months ago. Like, I wasn't even thinking about it. And then, like, it slowly started to reappear in the back of my mind, like, oh, I really enjoyed this. I enjoy making content. I keep seeing this. Like, maybe I can do this. So, I would say, like, take that first step, listen to yourself, trust yourself because it is a legitimate business model and there's so many resources out there. There's a whole network of people who are super 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 experienced, like more than you can even imagine. Like, you think in your mind like, okay, like there are expert UGC creators out there. Like they're way more expert than you can even imagine. They have so much knowledge and so many skills and they're ready to help you make that transition basically. And like once you make that first step, like yeah, it's a little bit uncomfortable, it's scary, but it's exciting because like there's so much potential and the sky is the limit. So it's like, what is it like, let fear be your counselor, not your jailer, something like that. Basically, like listen to your fear, keep it in mind, yeah, but like don't let it control your life, don't let fear control your life.
Yeah, lean into the fear.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's so interesting that you said that. I feel like that's very inspiring for the creators who are listening to this and they're just like getting started and they have no idea what's possible. So that's much appreciated. That being said, how do you see, for those creators that are skeptical of the UGC industry, how do you see the UGC industry evolving over time, especially around AI?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that the fear around AI, it's a little overhyped because like working on like organic campaigns on TikTok, you run into some AI creators every now and then that appear on your For You page and it's like you can tell almost right away that it's AI. And like if you look at the engagement, you look at the views, like I have one in mind, like in particular, and it's like some AI model in a car that looks kind of like Scarlett Johansson, some other celebrity. And it's like you go to their page and like the views are not there. There's no engagement, there are no comments. And it's like it's kind of clear why, because like yeah, the AI creator fills a need, right, for a real creator. It's obviously easier, and like you don't have to deal with an annoying creator and contracts and everything. But as one of my campaigns has shown me, it's like people want to see people. Like people want to see real people and real experiences in marketing. And it's like, if you can't provide that, people are going to scroll away because it feels artificial. And people are going to see that and be like, well, it's just like AI slop. Or they're just not like not even going to engage with it at all, which will hurt you too. So I think um, it will evolve in the sense that there are always brands who need content. There are always brands who need to market themselves on social media to, attract clients, customers, scale their business, rebrand themselves, boost their visibility, what have you. And working with like diverse UGC creators who have personality, have skills, have, a unique flavor, but also know how to work strategically, that is like the most beneficial thing that you can do as a brand, rather than being like, okay, here's AI Scarlett Johansson and like she wants you to download my app. Like, no, no one's going to download your app.
For sure. And it's also like the point of UGC is like authenticity, right? And AI is like anything but authentic. So it's very ironic.
It is, yeah. And I don't think people are gonna like really vibe with it. I think people are already really turned off by it, especially because it's like it's just not done well. Like AI should be a tool. It shouldn't be like a replacement for human authenticity and creativity.
No, not at all. uh, So, yeah, so you obviously had this amazing journey of going from $50, collabs to crazy four-figure deals and, 6K months being contracted here. So, my question to you is like, how important was having mentorship in this whole transformation you had over the past like 3, 4 months we've been, working together?
So important. So, so, so important. Mentorship is probably like the key ingredient here, because I think like mentorship is really like what brings you back to reality. It's like mentorship, having that community, having your support and your expertise. It's like you can pull me out of my head and be like, okay, well, like this is what is not working. And like you're overthinking this. And like this is what you need to do. Like just respond in this manner and say, like, this is what you have to offer, or say, no, thank you, and just respond very strategically. And it just kind of like it makes you think about things outside of yourself. It's like it's bigger than yourself, it's bigger than your ambitions and your insecurities. It's like there's a whole world of this, and you want to be strategic. You want to invest your time and your energy appropriately, rather than just like spiraling and being like, well, I don't know what's working. So having a mentor and having a group of people is so key, because you can like lean on them all the time. You can always ask them any questions. You can be like, is this normal? Like, why did they answer me this way? Like, what does this mean? I don't understand. Like, what is this concept? So you have like a whole network of resources and emotional support too available to you, like almost 24/7. So it's incredible. And I think it's like it helps you as a business owner professionally, how to present yourself financially. You can get more deals. You have a network, you have other people that are sending deals to you, basically. Yeah, psychologically, I think it's great. I would recommend it to anyone. And that was like one of the main reasons why I joined too, is because I was like, I know that I probably will need support, because like I can deal with self-doubt and I might get a little bit stuck and frustrated, and like that would demotivate me. And like I don't want those negative experiences to demotivate me so much where I give up completely. I want to connect with other people, and I want to learn from each other and encourage each other, because it's like we're all kind of going through the same thing, just at different stages, and we can all relate to each other and advise each other. And then, we have like the coaches and the experts like you who are like, hey, like this is what you need to be doing. I see you're doing this, but have you considered this?
100%. And even like, would you recommend this for that creator listening right now? Would you recommend this path to other creators, especially when it comes to learning the systems, right? And learning, the everything in business that's not out there to the public.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% recommend it. And I think like this is the way to do it. If you have the desire to do it, that's fantastic. Like that's the first step, is wanting to do it. The second step is taking the first step of actually doing it, being a little bit afraid. And then the third step is reaching out for help, like connecting with people and being like, I'm ready to learn. Like, help me. Like, where do I start? Like, what do I need to be doing differently? So I think like for me, I assume like there are a lot of creators out there like me who are like, you really want to do it. You have like lofty dreams and ambitions, and like you see yourself in the future as this kind of person, this kind of creator, but you have some self doubt and you don't really know how to get there. And you're like, I really want this, but like, I don't really know. Like, I kind of struggle with taking action, like, executive function. I don't really know like how to plan my day. I don't know like how many emails should I be sending? Like, how do I like write an email that sounds professional? And like all of these like little like technical steps kind of bog you down. And it's like, oh, well, like, that's like too much. Like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, and especially like trying to learn all of it on your own is really overwhelming, and there are like so many resources out there. So if you're like me and you have that desire but you don't really know like how to go about it, having a mentor is like the best thing that you can do for yourself as a creator and as a business owner. It's like the best thing you can do.
100%. And yeah, that raw feedback, that's great. So, I guess, what was your biggest doubt before making the commitment into yourself, and what would you say to like others who might be dealing with the same struggle?
I would say my biggest doubt was kind of like, can I make a living off of this? Like, can I actually do this? Can I actually get consistent collabs, retainers, and build relationships that last longer than like a week or two? Can I have that happen every single month? And the answer is yes, but you have to go about it in the right way. So I would say it is definitely possible, and it'll probably happen sooner than you think. But like, you need to take the first step. You need to put yourself out there, and you need to, I think I've said this before, like you need to take a step back and be like, what's not working? Like, what am I not doing right? You always want to try to improve and like see where your shortcomings are, like accountability. Like, I take accountability for where I need to improve. And I think I learned that really from this group and this network and having a mentor. So I would say, like, that doubt is totally valid because there's a lot of information online, like how much money you can make per month. You can make 10K like in your first month of doing UGC, like easy breezy, no problem. So I think that's a little bit overplayed. Obviously, like this is a business, this is an industry. So it will take a little bit of time and a little bit of like positioning and tweaking, but it's totally possible. Like, it is logical. It's like you apply to X amount of collabs, you do X amount of outreach, and here are the results that you get. Okay, these are your results. If you want to get to 5K a month or 10K a month, like what needs to change to get to that point? It's not like it's a fantasy where it's like you either make like $0 a month, $100 a month, or 10K a month. Like, there's a lot of stuff in between. So it's like, just take that step and like you will get there. Like, it's stepwise.
100%. Yeah. And you kind of throughout this call, you've kind of talked about, the same themes of like, first of all, taking that first step and using systems to scale instead of, emotions and self-worth, right? And, focusing on logistics and rationality versus, making irrational decisions and not being committed, right? Which is very inspiring. So if you were to just sum everything up into like one last piece of advice for the creator that's stuck and that's not committed, and basically your old self, your past self, who you were like months ago, like earlier this year, what would you tell them?
I would say do it. Take the first step because there is a whole staircase that goes up. You're not stepping into the abyss. Take the first step and keep climbing up because that's the way to scale your business.
Wow. Yeah, and that's
You're not gonna take that step and like fall through the floor. Like, that's what I was afraid of, right? Like, taking the first step and being like, oh my god, okay, I'm at the ground level, and then you just like fall and you crash all the way to the bottom, and it's like, oh my god, like this isn't even a thing. Why did I even think that I could do this? Like, I'm so silly, whatever. It's like, no, you take that first step, and then there's the second step, and then the third step, and then you see the people who are like up on the second floor, the third floor, and you're like, hey guys, like how do I get up there? And they're like, oh, well, like you need to do this. And then you come and you meet them, and then it's just like it goes on and on and on, and that's really exciting and encouraging.
yeah. I mean, it's simple, but it's not easy, right? Simple, but it's not easy.
Exactly, and like having other people with you makes it so much better.
100%. Yeah, and I'm glad that it's helped you. So, this whole call has been so inspiring. And guys, everyone listening to this, drop like a comment on what you learned. Drop a thumbs up for Sasha to show her some support. Subscribe down below. And then, last thing, Sasha, where can people connect with you on social media?
On social media, you can find me at sashas.day. That is my handle.
Awesome. Is that like all social media, like Instagram, TikTok, X?
I think it's TikTok and Instagram. I have to check on X because I haven't been there in a while, but it's in my link tree on my Instagram.
Okay, so we'll just put your Instagram down below. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sasha, for joining us today on this podcast. Your journey is super inspiring. I was even like super inspired myself. And
Thank you so
um,
much.
yeah, yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. I love encouraging people. I love talking about it. I want to learn more. I want other people to learn more. Like let's just do it, you know?
100%. Well, yeah, thanks again. And yeah, you have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.